Ladies and gentlemen, control what you can, accept what you cannot. Life is filled with uncertainty. No matter how much we plan, prepare, or strive for control, we inevitably encounter situations that defy our expectations. We face setbacks, disappointments, and circumstances that test our patience and resilience. The more we resist what is beyond our control, the more frustrated, anxious, and disheartened we become. The truth is, much of what happens in life is out of our hands, and yet we often spend an enormous amount of time and energy trying to force outcomes that are simply not ours to dictate. The key to inner peace and clarity lies in understanding the boundary between what we can influence and what we must learn to accept. At any given moment, we are presented with two categories of events, those we can change and those we cannot. Most people spend their time trying to change the latter, worrying about the opinions of others, stressing over unpredictable circumstances, or dwelling on the past. This futile effort only leads to unnecessary suffering. When we recognize what is outside our control and make the conscious choice to let go, we free ourselves from the weight of frustration and disappointment. Consider the weather. No matter how much we wish for sunshine, the rain will come when it is meant to. Complaining about it, resenting it, or hoping it changes will do nothing to alter reality. However, what is within our control is how we respond. We can carry an umbrella, dress accordingly, or simply learn to enjoy the rain. In this simple analogy lies a profound truth: resisting what is outside our control only leads to distress, while adjusting our mindset and actions allows us to navigate life with grace. This concept extends to our interactions with others. People will have their own opinions, attitudes, and reactions. We may strive to be liked, to be understood, or to change someone's perspective. But in the end, we cannot force anyone to see the world as we do. The only thing within our control is our own behavior, how we choose to respond to others, how we communicate, and how we carry ourselves in the face of disagreement or criticism. When we focus on our own actions rather than trying to dictate the reactions of others, we cultivate a sense of freedom and self-assurance. In personal setbacks, this principle is equally important. Imagine spending years building a business only for the economy to shift unexpectedly, leading to its downfall. Or training tirelessly for an athletic competition, only to suffer an injury just before the event. These moments can feel devastating, but they also offer a choice: to dwell on what went wrong and resist reality, or to adapt, learn, and move forward. The circumstances themselves are beyond control, but our mindset and next actions are within our grasp. It is not the event itself that determines our future, but our response to it. Fear often accompanies the things we cannot control. The uncertainty of the future can be daunting. We worry about financial security, health, relationships, and the unpredictable turns of life. But worry does not change the outcome. It only drains energy from the present. The future will unfold as it must, regardless of our anxiety. The best course of action is to prepare where we can, take responsibility for our choices, and accept the rest with an open heart. There is immense power in shifting our focus inward. When we accept that the world is not always predictable, that people will act according to their own nature, and that life will unfold in ways we may not expect, we begin to find peace. Instead of wasting energy fighting what cannot be changed, we channel our efforts into what truly matters: our actions, our mindset, and our ability to adapt. Acceptance does not mean passivity. It does not mean giving up or resigning to fate. Rather, it is an active decision to release what does not serve us and direct our energy toward meaningful action. It means understanding that while we may not have control over everything, we always have control over ourselves. The moments in which we feel the greatest resistance, when we argue with reality, when we demand that things be different than they are the moments that teach us the most about surrender. In these moments we must pause, breathe, and ask ourselves, is this within my control? If the answer is yes, then we take action. If the answer is no, then we let go. This practice requires patience and discipline, but over time it transforms the way we experience life. Instead of feeling powerless in the face of uncertainty, we feel empowered to focus on what truly matters. Instead of feeling burdened by external events, we feel lighter, knowing that our peace does not depend on circumstances, but on our own state of mind. By controlling what we can and accepting what we cannot, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. We step into a life guided not by fear or resistance, but by wisdom and resilience. See obstacles as opportunities. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and unexpected hardships. No matter how much we plan or prepare, there will always be moments that test our patience, resilience, and strength. While many people view obstacles as barriers that prevent progress, the truth is that these difficulties are often the very things that shape us into who we are meant to become. The way we perceive our struggles determines whether they will break us or make us stronger. Every obstacle carries within it the potential for growth, transformation, and wisdom. The key is not to resist these challenges but to embrace them, seeing them not as problems but as opportunities to rise beyond our limitations. It is easy to wish for a smooth and effortless life, free from difficulties and hardships. However, a life without obstacles would be a life without growth. Just as a muscle strengthens through resistance, the human spirit grows through adversity. When we face difficulties, we are given a chance to develop patience, discipline, and perseverance. Every challenge we encounter teaches us something valuable, whether it is about our own strength, our ability to adapt, or the importance of persistence. Instead of viewing hardships as misfortunes, we should recognize them as lessons designed to elevate us. History is filled with individuals who turned obstacles into stepping stones for success. Many of the world's greatest achievements were born out of struggle. Innovators, leaders, and visionaries did not reach greatness despite their challenges. They reached it because of them. Adversity forced them to think differently, to find creative solutions, and to push beyond their perceived limitations. Without obstacles, there would be no motivation to improve, no reason to strive for something greater. It is in the face of difficulty that human potential is truly realized. Obstacles also serve as powerful teachers. They reveal our weaknesses, showing us where we need to grow. They strip away illusions, forcing us to confront reality as it is rather than as we wish it to be. When faced with failure, rejection, or hardship, we have the opportunity to reflect, to learn, and to refine our approach. If we choose to see setbacks as failures, we miss out on their deeper purpose. But if we see them as feedback, as guidance pushing us in the right direction, we transform our struggles into stepping stones. One of the greatest challenges people face is the fear of failure. Many hesitate to take action because they are afraid of making mistakes or falling short. However, failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of success. Every misstep brings us closer to mastery, every rejection builds resilience, and every setback provides insight that helps us move forward with greater wisdom. Those who understand this truth do not fear obstacles, they welcome them as opportunities to refine their skills and deepen their understanding. Obstacles also teach us adaptability. Life rarely goes according to plan, and those who resist change often find themselves overwhelmed by uncertainty. But those who learn to embrace uncertainty, to adjust their course when necessary, and to remain flexible in the face of adversity, are the ones who thrive. An obstacle is not the end of the road, it is a signal that it is time to find a new path. It challenges us to think creatively, to find alternative solutions, and to push beyond what we previously thought possible. Another valuable lesson obstacles offer is the ability to build inner strength. There is a reason why people who have endured great struggles often develop remarkable resilience. They have been tested, shaped, and refined by their experiences. They have learned that pain is temporary, that setbacks are not permanent, and that they have the power to overcome even the most difficult circumstances. Strength is not something we are born with, it is something we cultivate through experience. The more we face and overcome adversity, the stronger and more unshakable we become. Beyond personal growth, obstacles also deepen our appreciation for success. When something comes too easily, it is often taken for granted. But when we have struggled, fought, and persevered, we develop a profound appreciation for what we have achieved. Success is not meaningful because it is given, it is meaningful because it is earned. The journey through hardship gives us a sense of purpose and fulfillment that cannot be found in ease or comfort. Ultimately, obstacles are not meant to stop us, they are meant to shape us. They are tests, lessons, and opportunities in our eyes. They reveal who we truly are and push us to become who we are meant to be. Those who embrace this truth do not shrink in the face of adversity, they rise. They understand that life's greatest gifts are often hidden within its greatest challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as reasons to give up, they see them as opportunities to grow, to learn, and to become stronger than they ever imagined possible. Detached from the opinions of others. One of the greatest sources of anxiety and self-doubt in life comes from an excessive concern for what others think. From an early age, people are conditioned to seek approval, whether from parents, teachers, friends, or society at large. This desire for validation is natural, but when it becomes the driving force behind decisions, actions, and emotions, it leads to a life shaped by external expectations rather than internal conviction. To find true peace, purpose, and authenticity, one must learn to detach from the opinions of others and develop the courage to live according to personal values rather than the shifting judgments of the world. The opinions of others are often based on their own experiences, biases, and insecurities, rather than an accurate reflection of reality. What one person admires, another may criticize. A single action can be praised by one group and condemned by another. This inconsistency highlights the futility of seeking universal approval. No matter how carefully one crafts their words or actions, there will always be someone who disapproves. Trying to please everyone is not only impossible but also exhausting. When a person's sense of worth is dependent on external validation, they become vulnerable to constant emotional fluctuations, rising and falling with the unpredictable tides of public opinion. People who prioritize the opinions of others often sacrifice their own desires, dreams, and values in an attempt to fit in or be accepted. They may hesitate to take risks, suppress their true thoughts, or conform to expectations that do not align with their authentic selves. This creates an inner conflict, a life in which personal fulfillment is secondary to social approval. Over time, this leads to frustration, regret, and a sense of being lost. The cost of prioritizing external judgment is the suppression of individuality, and the longer one lives for others, the further they drift from their true self. True freedom comes from understanding that external opinions hold no real power unless they are given power. Words, judgments, and criticisms are only as significant as the weight assigned to them. A person who is firm in their principles and self-awareness cannot be shaken by the fleeting judgments of the crowd. They recognize that their worth is not determined by praise or criticism, but by their own integrity and actions. When one no longer seeks validation from others, they gain the ability to make decisions with clarity, unburdened by the fear of rejection or disapproval. There is also great strength in understanding that people's opinions often say more about them than about the subject of their judgment. Someone who criticizes another's choices is often projecting their own fears, insecurities, or personal experiences. The same action can be interpreted in entirely different ways depending on the observer. When a person recognizes this, they realize that external judgment is not an objective truth, but a subjective perspective, and therefore it should not dictate their actions or emotions. Detaching from opinions does not mean becoming indifferent or ignoring constructive feedback. There is value in learning from the insights of others, but the key is discernment. Not all opinions carry equal weight, and not all criticism is worth internalizing. The difference lies in distinguishing between guidance that aligns with personal growth and baseless judgment that stems from ignorance or negativity. Those who offer genuine wisdom do so with the intention of helping, not controlling. A wise person listens, reflects, and takes only what serves their growth, leaving behind what does not. Fear of judgment often prevents people from pursuing their aspirations. The worry of being misunderstood, ridiculed, or criticized can paralyze action. However, the reality is that most people are too absorbed in their own lives to give prolonged thought to someone else's choices. The imagined scrutiny that holds so many back is often just that, imagined. Even if others do judge, that no thoughts have no real consequence unless they are allowed to shape actions and emotions. The fear of what others might think is often more limiting than the actual opinions themselves. Confidence is built through experience, through taking action despite fear, and proving that external judgment does not dictate success or failure. The greatest achievers in history, artists, leaders, innovators, did not attain greatness by seeking approval. They faced criticism, doubt, and resistance, yet they moved forward because they were guided by an internal sense of purpose rather than external validation. Their strength came from within, and because of this they remained unmoved by the shifting opinions of the world. Letting go of the need for approval is a process, but with time it becomes liberating. It allows a person to live with authenticity, to pursue their ambitions without hesitation, and to experience true inner peace. When one ceases to be controlled by the judgments of others, they gain the ultimate freedom, the ability to be themselves fully, unapologetically, and without fear. Practice gratitude for the present moment. Life is often lived in a state of longing, either dwelling on the past or anxiously anticipating the future. People replay old memories, regret missed opportunities, or yearn for a time when things seemed better. At the same time, they constantly chase the next goal, believing happiness lies just beyond their reach. However, in doing so, they overlook the only moment that truly exists, the present. Gratitude for the present moment is not just an act of appreciation, but a way of seeing life with clarity and fulfillment. It is the recognition that life is happening now, and within this very moment, there is something to be thankful for. The mind has a tendency to focus on what is lacking rather than what is present. Magnifies problems, emphasizes what is missing, and creates dissatisfaction by comparing reality to an imagined ideal. This creates a cycle in which happiness is always conditional, always dependent on external factors aligning in a certain way. However, when gratitude is practiced, a shift occurs. Instead of focusing on what is absent, attention is directed toward what is already here. The simplest things, breath, warmth, the ability to think, to move, to feel, become sources of appreciation. When life is viewed through the lens of gratitude, abundance is found in the ordinary, and contentment arises naturally. The present moment is often taken for granted because it feels insignificant compared to past experiences or future ambitions. People assume that joy will come later, after they achieve their goals, after they acquire more, after circumstances improve. But the truth is that the future is always uncertain. The only guarantee is the now. Waiting for happiness in a distant tomorrow means risking the loss of countless moments of joy that already exist. Gratitude shifts this perspective, revealing that fulfillment is not found in an imagined future, but in the ability to appreciate what is here right now. Difficulties and challenges often make gratitude seem out of reach. When faced with hardship, the instinct is to resist, to focus on what is wrong rather than what is right. However, even in struggle, there is something to be grateful for. Pain teaches lessons, challenges build strength, and setbacks provide opportunities for growth. The most resilient individuals are those who find gratitude, even in adversity, for they understand that every experience, whether pleasant or painful, shapes them into who they are meant to become. By acknowledging the value of each moment, even the difficult ones, life's challenges become part of a greater journey, rather than mere obstacles. Gratitude also fosters presence. In a world filled with distractions, it is easy to move through life on autopilot, constantly thinking ahead or reliving the past. But when gratitude is practiced, attention is drawn back to the now. The sound of laughter, the warmth of the sun, the rhythm of love, all of these small yet profound experiences become vivid. Life becomes richer, deeper, and more meaningful. The rush to the next thing slows down, and the beauty of the moment is truly seen and felt. Moreover, gratitude strengthens relationships. When people appreciate those around them, they express kindness, patience, and understanding. Instead of focusing on what others lack or how they fall short, they recognize their presence, their efforts, and their unique qualities. This deepens connections and fosters an environment of mutual respect and love. A simple acknowledgement of gratitude, whether through words, actions, or silent reflection, can transform relationships and create lasting bonds. Gratitude also reduces the need for external validation. Many people seek happiness in material possessions, social status, or recognition from others. Yet these sources of fulfillment are fleeting. They offer temporary satisfaction, but never lasting contentment. True fulfillment comes from within, from the ability to see and appreciate life as it is, rather than as one wishes it to be. When gratitude is cultivated, the need for more fades, replaced by the realization that what is already present is enough. A grateful mind is a peaceful mind. When people focus on what they have rather than what they lack, they experience less stress, less envy, and less dissatisfaction. They no longer compare themselves to others or measure their worth by external standards. Instead, they embrace their own journey, recognizing that every moment, no matter how small, is a gift. This does not mean that ambition or growth should be abandoned, but rather that happiness should not be postponed for some distant achievement. It means striving while also appreciating, moving forward while also being present. Gratitude is not a passive state, but an active practice. It requires awareness, effort, and consistency. It is a choice, one that must be made daily, in each moment, regardless of circumstances. The more it is practiced, the more natural it becomes, and the more life transforms from a series of burdens into a collection of blessings. It is in the present moment that life is truly lived, and within that moment, gratitude reveals the beauty that has always been there. Embrace voluntary discomfort. Comfort is often dissolved as the ultimate goal in life. People work hard to achieve security, stability, and convenience, believing that a life free of struggle is the key to happiness. Yet paradoxically, the pursuit of constant comfort can lead to stagnation, weakness, and even dissatisfaction. Growth, resilience, and strength are not found in a life of ease, but in the willingness to embrace discomfort voluntarily. By stepping outside of comfort zones, challenging limitations, and facing adversity head-on, individuals cultivate discipline, mental toughness, and a deeper appreciation for life. Voluntary discomfort is not about seeking suffering for its own sake, but about using controlled challenges to build resilience. In ancient times, warriors, philosophers, and leaders often practiced hardship deliberately to prepare for the unpredictability of life. They understood that adversity would come eventually, and by exposing themselves to difficulty in a controlled manner, they would be ready when true hardships arose. This practice remains relevant today. Life is unpredictable, and those who have known face struggle often crumble when adversity inevitably arrives. Those who have trained themselves to endure discomfort, however, remain steady and unshaken. One of the simplest ways to practice voluntary discomfort is through physical challenges. Pushing the body beyond its limits, whether through intense exercise, cold exposure, fasting, or enduring physical strain, develops mental fortitude alongside physical strength. A person who regularly tests their endurance in difficult conditions learns that they are capable of much more than they initially believed. They become comfortable with discomfort, realizing that pain, fatigue, and temporary suffering are not barriers, but stepping stones to growth. Over time, the body adapts, but more importantly, the mind becomes disciplined and unyielding. Beyond physical endurance, voluntary discomfort extends to everyday life. Modern convenience has made it easy to avoid struggle. Instant gratification is readily available through technology, and causes distractions. However, this convenience often weakens discipline and the ability to delay gratification. Choosing to resist these temptations, to abstain from excess, and to simplify life intentionally builds a stronger character. Taking cold showers instead of warm ones, walking instead of driving, or resisting indulgences instead of giving in to every craving are small yet powerful ways to strengthen willpower. These seemingly minor acts train the mind to endure discomfort, making greater challenges easier to face. Embracing discomfort also means confronting fear and uncertainty. Many people avoid taking risks or pursuing their true ambitions because they fear failure, rejection, or hardship. However, avoiding discomfort does not eliminate it, it only postpones it while limiting personal growth. When individuals actively seek challenges, put themselves in unfamiliar situations, and take risks despite fear, they expand their potential. They learn that failure is not something to be feared but an opportunity to improve. Each time discomfort is faced rather than avoided, confidence grows, and what once seemed impossible becomes achievable. Another crucial aspect of voluntary discomfort is learning to live with less. In a world that constantly pushes for more possessions, more wealth, more consumption, choosing simplicity can be a radical act. Practicing minimalism, living frugally, or deliberately limiting luxuries teaches self-sufficiency and gratitude. When people experience discomfort by living with less, they realize that they do not need as much as they once thought. They gain freedom from material dependence, knowing that their happiness is not tied to external comforts but to their own mindset. Practicing voluntary discomfort also fosters gratitude. When people expose themselves to difficulty, they become more appreciative of the comforts they do have. A person who has fasted appreciates food more deeply. Someone who has endured physical hardship values rest in a way they never did before. Those who have spent time in solitude cherish human connection, By stepping into discomfort, one gains a heightened awareness of life's simple pleasures, leading to a greater sense of fulfillment and contentment. Ultimately, voluntary discomfort is a form of preparation. Life is unpredictable, and hardship will come in some form: illness, loss, failure, or unexpected setbacks. Those who have never faced discomfort voluntarily are often unprepared when true difficulties arise. They may crumble under pressure, overwhelmed by a reality they have never trained for. But those who have embraced struggle intentionally are ready. They have conditioned themselves to remain calm, to adapt, and to push forward despite pain or uncertainty. A person who actively seeks out challenge becomes someone who does not fear adversity, but welcomes it as a teacher. They do not seek an easy life but a meaningful one, knowing that true strength is built not in comfort but in challenge. By embracing voluntary discomfort, they cultivate resilience, self-discipline, and an unshakable inner strength that carries them through anything life may bring. Align your actions with your highest values. Life is often filled with distractions, obligations, and pressures that pull people in many different directions. It is easy to drift through life, reacting to circumstances rather than intentionally shaping one's path. However, true fulfillment comes not from external achievements or fleeting pleasures, but from living in alignment with one's deepest values. When actions reflect core principles, life gains meaning, decisions become clearer, and inner peace replaces uncertainty. Aligning actions with values requires self-awareness, discipline, and the courage to stay true to what truly matters, even when the world pushes in the opposite direction. To align actions with values, one must first define what those values are. Many people live according to expectations imposed by family, society, or culture without questioning whether these align with their own beliefs. They may chase success, wealth, or status without considering whether these pursuits truly bring them fulfillment. Clarity begins with self-reflection, asking what truly matters, what principles one stands for, and what kind of person one aspires to be. Without a clear understanding of personal values, actions will be guided by external influences rather than internal conviction. Once values are identified, the challenge is to ensure that daily actions reflect them. This requires honesty with oneself. It is easy to claim to value integrity, but do daily decisions uphold honesty, even when it is inconvenient? It is easy to say family is important, but do actions prioritize meaningful time with loved ones? Many people experience inner conflict because their behavior contradicts their beliefs. This misalignment creates frustration, guilt, and a sense of being lost. When actions and values are in harmony, however, life feels more authentic, purposeful, and fulfilling. One of the greatest obstacles to living in alignment with values is the influence of external pressures. Society often rewards behavior that contradicts personal principles. People may feel pressured to compromise their ethics for financial gain, to conform to social norms that do not resonate with them, or to prioritize image over authenticity. It takes strength to resist these pressures and remain true to one's values, especially when doing so leads to discomfort, criticism, or temporary setbacks. However, true self-respect comes from knowing that one's choices reflect their deepest beliefs, regardless of external approval. Living according to values also requires making difficult decisions. Often the right path is not the easiest one. It may mean choosing honesty over convenience, discipline over indulgence, or courage over comfort. It may mean walking away from situations, habits, or even relationships that conflict with core principles. These choices are not always simple, but they are necessary for a meaningful life. Every action taken in alignment with values strengthens character, reinforces self-trust, and builds a foundation for long-term fulfillment. When values guide decisions, they also bring clarity in times of uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, and difficult choices will arise. Without a strong sense of values, decision-making can feel overwhelming. But when a person knows what they stand for, the right path becomes clearer. They no longer need to seek approval from others or second-guess themselves, because their decisions are based on unshakable principles rather than external validation. Moreover, living in alignment with values creates consistency between words and actions. Many people say they want one thing but do another. They speak about kindness but act selfishly, or they claim to value health but neglect their well-being. This inconsistency weakens integrity and creates internal conflict. When actions match values, however, there is a deep sense of authenticity and self-respect. Others recognize this consistency and trust is built, not just in personal relationships but in all aspects of life. Another benefit of aligning actions with values is the development of inner peace. Much of the stress and dissatisfaction in life comes from living in contradiction to one's beliefs. When people ignore their values for convenience or temporary pleasure, they often feel unfulfilled, even if they achieve success by external standards. True peace comes from knowing that one's life is being lived with integrity, that every decision reflects a conscious commitment to what truly matters. This peace cannot be bought or faked. It is the natural result of a life lived with purpose. Aligning actions with values is not a one-time decision, but a continuous practice. Life will constantly test commitments, offering temptations, challenges, and distractions. There will be moments of weakness, mistakes, and times when values are compromised. However, the key is to recognize these moments, reflect, and realign. Growth comes not from perfection, but from the constant effort to stay true to what matters most. Ultimately, a life lived in alignment with values is a life of meaning. It may not always be the easiest path, but it is the most rewarding. Those who stay true to their principles, despite the challenges, experience a deep sense of purpose and fulfillment. They are not easily swayed by external pressures, nor do they feel lost or unfulfilled. Their actions reflect their beliefs, and because of this they walk through life with confidence, clarity, and peace. In the end, life is not measured by wealth, status, or external achievements, but by the integrity with which it is lived. When actions align with values, there is no need for constant validation or regret, only the quiet confidence that each step taken is one of purpose and authenticity. Challenges will come, pressures will test convictions, and the world may try to pull you in directions that do not serve you. But by staying true to your highest values, you build a life of meaning, strength, and inner peace. The path may not always be easy, but it will always be worth it.